What is the psychology of social influence? That's an interesting question. Well, social influence itself refers to the way in which humans tend to conform their behavior to that of the group, and more specifically, obey those who are perceived to be an authority within that group. I suppose social influence can be most clearly seen when, people change their opinions and their behavior, sometimes against their own individual preference or belief system, in order to meet the demands of a social group. So, for example, the majority-held opinion of a set group of friends are likely to inform the views of any new members of that group. If you identify with a particular group, you're going to take on the beliefs of that group, no matter how insane they might be, in order to be accepted by your new social peers. I think identity politics and personality politics around the world. You've got Trumpism in the US, you've got BNP in the UK, you've got Marcos in the Philippines, you've got Modi in India, and the list goes on and on. And the members of these groups all show signs of social influence and group conformity in their behavior. I think one of the main reasons people conform to group or social influence is so that they can gain the approval of others and not be considered an outcast. Humans are essentially uh, social creatures, and this is intrinsically related to our innate psychological desire for that sense of belonging and acceptance. And this conformity can have either negative or positive effects. On the one hand, it can generate increased social cohesion, but on the other, it can also lead to groupthink and become fertile ground for, oppression and tyranny. Think Stalinist Russia, Nazi Germany, Communist North Korea, Cambodian Khmer Rouge. History is full of these examples. So social influence, yes, can be both positive and negative depending on the group and how it's used. But when it flips into groupthink and, rejects both critical thinking or any view that doesn't match the view of the group, that's when it becomes dangerous. So social influence in and of itself isn't necessarily negative, but groupthink is. If you've ever seen the Stanley Milgram experiment, either the electric shock experiment, or worse, the prison experiment, this will give you a very clear example of of the authority principle in the electric shock experiment and of groupthink in the prison experiment. Google the prison experiment. It makes fascinating, if somewhat terrifying, viewing.